So recently there was video of a conversation between Tucker Carlson and a Dutch historian named Rutger Bregman. Now this video went viral because of its nature, the fact that it had not been released by the Tucker Carlson show. Now Bregman was invited onto Carlson's show after calling out the world's elite at the World Economic Forum in Davos. I showed you guys that video. It was awesome. Now, he talked about, hey, why are we not having a conversation about taxes? That's really, really important. If we want to talk about income and wealth disparity, and we want to talk about poverty, let's also talk about taxes, right? So now, he went on to Tucker Carlson's show, and this is what happened. Let's take a look.
What the family, what the Murdochs basically want you to do is to scapegoat immigrants instead of talking about tax avoidance. So I'm glad you're now finally raising the issue, but that's what been happening for the past couple of years.
And I'm taking orders from the Murdochs. Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, it doesn't work that directly, but I mean, you've been part of the Cato Institute, right? You've been a senior fellow there for years. You've been taking their dirty money. They're funded by cock billionaires,
Wait, why don't you tell me how it does work?
Well, it works by you taking their dirty money. It's as easy as that. I mean, you are a millionaire funded by billionaires. That's what you are. And I'm glad you now finally jumped the bandwagon, of people like Bernie Sanders and AOC. But you're not part of the solution, Mr. Carlson. You're part of the problem, actually. So, I mean, you're probably not going to air this. But I went to Davos to speak truth to power. And I'm doing exactly the same thing right now. You might not like it, but you're a millionaire funded by billionaires, and that's the reason why you're not talking about these issues.
But I am talking about these issues.
Yeah, only now. Come on, you jumped the bandwagon. You're all like, oh, I'm against the globalist elite, blah, blah, blah. It's not very convincing, to be honest.
Why don't you go yourself, you tiny brain, and I hope this gets picked up. Because you're a moron. I tried to give you a hearing, but you were too annoying for me.
You can't handle the criticism, can you?
Awesome. Oh, hey, be careful what you wish for, Tucker. He apologized earlier today. But anyway, I think my favorite part is while he was in the middle of explaining to Tucker Carlson how it worked, Tucker Carlson's like, no, tell me how it works. I just told you how it works. You take money from the billionaires, and then you spout propaganda. I mean, it's fairly simple, right? Now, I want to go here to the statement here, not from Carlson himself, but from a senior executive producer of Tucker Carlson's show. Now, he said in a statement that, quote, Carlson is someone who appreciates many points of view. Sadly, the guest turned an opportunity to have a substantive, informative discussion into an obviously calculated personal insult campaign. We were disappointed in the segment and respect our audience's time too much to consider airing it. So they're explaining, of course, why they didn't air it, why it didn't get released. But wait, didn't Carlson say that I wanted that released? No, they didn't want to see him get owned. And that's what happened. As far as like, what happened here, right? Why they didn't air it or whatever. The thing is that there's no lying in here. There's no insults, okay? There's no lie. Where is the lie? No, Tucker Carlson is a millionaire that gets money from billionaires. And then he goes on and he talks about segments that echo white supremacist talking points. It's not an insult. That's literal fact. It's what he does. Now, he does talk correctly, right, about corruption, about big corporations taking more, paying less, etc. Because it turns out there is this populist strain in the right that also hates corruption and big corporations. I know, shocker, right? It turns out the American people, right and left, don't like corporations screwing us over. Amazing. Now, the difference is, of course, is that these big companies, whenever Tucker Carlson covers them, he spins them as, oh, these big liberal companies like Amazon. Ugh. In reality, there's a lot of people on the left, progressives, that despise Amazon because of the fact that they don't have unionization, despite the fact that until Bernie Sanders, they weren't paying a living wage, and that they were treating their workers very poorly. And then, of course, in the places where they operate, there is obviously a lot of problems with housing. There's a housing crisis in a lot of these big city areas, making it very unaffordable for workers to live in those areas. So, look, there's some major problems. Now, does Tucker Carlson talk about any of that? No, of course not. Now, the thing is, on corporations, they can't be liberal. They literally have no ideology. They're basically profit-making machines set up to make as much profit as possible. The reasons that so many companies seem so socially liberal, right, is because, I mean, there's a really simple explanation. It kind of helps your business. It helps you make money when you don't alienate potential customers. I'm just saying. Like, it really helps. It helps. So, look, the thing is, in reality, these companies love tax breaks. Of course, what company doesn't, right? They love the deregulation, and they use legalized bribery to do that, in order to get their way, to keep their taxes low as possible. Now, a lot of these companies give to think tanks, conservative think tanks, like the Cato Institute, that basically tell you that, no, low taxes and no regulation is awesome. No, you want to not tax us. You want to lower our taxes. You want to make sure we pay as little as possible. And it turns out a lot of conservatives don't actually like that. And so, look, when Tucker Carlson points it out, I give him credit. But unfortunately, he has no solutions to it. His solutions are liberal companies, progressives, they don't tip enough. I mean, come on, man. Look, Cato Institute, by the way, as he pointed out, that's where Tucker was a senior fellow. One of the biggest companies that give to Cato is Koch Industries. Koch Industries is owned by, Charles and David Koch. They want to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid so they can get giant tax cuts for themselves. They pay people like Tucker Carlson to do propaganda for them. And because we have this populist wave in the country, even in the right wing, the right wing hates this system too, the system of legalized bribery. And they hate the system of crony capitalism. And so here you have Tucker Carlson, even though he's getting paid by billionaires to perpetuate that same system, he goes out of his way to try to tap into that populist sentiment. And so he's sort of a unique voice on Fox News, not defending the corporations. But at the same time, he avoids holding these lawmakers, Republican lawmakers especially, and companies, he avoids holding them accountable. And of course, he goes after liberal Amazon, right? He doesn't attack the root of the problem. He goes after immigrants and progressives. That's the problem here. Okay? Now, that's who Tucker Carlson is. Now, the internet, interestingly enough, weighed in and did what they do best. They dunked on Tucker so hard. Kara Swisher says, "Oh, Tucky, don't go up against the smart kids." Pedro Nicolai da Costa says, "Because he owned you and you flew off the handle." Noted. AOC weighed in. I love this. Quoting the Dutch historian, I should say, "You're a millionaire funded by billionaires, and what they want you to do is scapegoat immigrants instead of talking about their tax evasion." Whoa, the direct, relentless clarity of this exchange is fire. Yes. Anand Girahardis says, "My Dutch brother from another mother and the specter that haunted Davos causes Tucker to have a meltdown." I love the name, calling him the specter that haunted Davos. That's awesome. James Blake says, "Seems pretty obvious why. You got made to look a fool by someone much more intelligent than you, and your ego couldn't take it. So you got defensive and lashed out like a petulant child." And that is what happened. And look, let's be fair. Bregman planned this. He was ready. When he said, "Look, I do my homework, right? If I'm going to go on your show, I'm going to do my homework. I'm going to watch your show." Which, by the way, earlier in the part that I didn't show, Carlson's defense was, "Well, you don't even get Fox News where you live." And his response, "There is such thing called the internet. I can watch whatever I want, wherever I want." Oh, owned. Anyway, Pat Oswalt said, I hope this gets picked up, quoting Carlson. Well, Tucker must be very happy right now. He is not happy. In fact, as I said before, he apologized. Kalia says, I think it's Kayla, says, I watched this and came back an hour later to watch it again because it made me cackle so hard. Quoting Carlson, why don't you go F yourself? Haha, put me in my grave because I am dead, and so is Tucker Carlson after his dumb head exploded. That's funny. That's funny. Judd Legum says, a Dutch historian told Tucker Carlson that he was a millionaire funded by billionaires who scapegoated immigrants instead of talking about real economic issues. Carlson had no rebuttal. He just responded with a string of invective. Remarkable. There's more. Abigail says, hilarious, they haven't laughed so hard in a long time. This guy really sticks to that lightweight, know-nothing of a journalist. Tucker Carlson until Carlson loses it. Can't handle the truth. So funny. What's funny is that he didn't expect that coming. He literally didn't see it coming. He's like, oh, I'm going to have this conversation. I'm going to act like I'm interested. And then I'm going to hit him with the limousine liberal stuff. Because let's be honest, that's what he does. So he goes and has these conversations, doesn't address tax rates, doesn't address corruption, or at least a solution to that corruption, and instead blames progressives. That's the whole shtick. Saying, yes, we're right about these things, and these things are real issues, but let's blame the liberals for doing it. When in reality, both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party have been doing the bidding of giant donors for decades. And that's the truth about that. And thankfully, we do have politicians like AOC and Bernie Sanders who want to disrupt that and actually make the Democrats work for regular working people. There's more here. Owen Ellickson says, the only legit comeback Tucker could have made is, I'm a servile to the rich is what you're saying, but a lot of the racist stuff I'm at least doing on my own. That's awesome. Tim Robbins tweeted, oops, Tucker Carlson called out as a millionaire and funded by billionaires. Wonder why they didn't air the interview. And Mike Bergvilia says, and this is probably the best, I would pay $10 a month to watch the interviews Tucker Carlson doesn't air. Those are great. So, look, Carlson got absolutely destroyed here. And, man, that's a bad look. But, look, if you're a millionaire, you're funded by billionaires, you are not a friend of the working class. And I think that is fairly clear. So, sorry, Tucker. Nobody's buying your I'm a working man. I'm a friend of the working man routine. So you might as well just give it up now. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.